What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So, as the title states, I did pick up another car, but I quickly want to address the other cars on the channel before I actually show you guys what that car is. So, speaking on the Porsche, if you happen to catch my poll last week where I asked you guys for your opinion on what you think I should do with the funds from selling the Porsche, unfortunately the Porsche is not gone yet. This opportunity came up at a time where I didn't want to pass it up, and the Porsche has yet to be officially posted, so I still have it, but that is still the plan for that car. Regarding the E36, if you happen to be following this channel or following the build rather for that car, I have no intentions at all of selling that car. The plan is to still do a PTG inspired street build, and so, you know, that is still the plan. It's probably gonna get pushed back a little bit because now that I bought this new car, I'm gonna use the funds from the Porsche to kind of recoup a little bit of that, but that is still the plan. So definitely stick around if you're interested in seeing how that eventually unfolds. But I did pick up a couple of cool parts for the E36 during Black Friday, so definitely subscribe if you wanna see those installed on the car. But yeah, so that's what's going on with those two cars. Now moving on to the new car. Basically how I buy cars is, you know, I'm constantly browsing the classifieds, especially for cars that I'm interested in maybe owning, you know, one day. And so I was kind of eyeing this car for a couple of weeks. It was already sort of posted for a decent deal in my opinion. That's kind of what drew me to it in the first place, but it was a little more than I wanted to spend, especially having not sold the Porsche yet. But over the last few weeks, I've kind of noticed the guy dropping the price. Like, he kept dropping it and kept dropping it and kept dropping it. And eventually I messaged him and I was like, hey man, like, this seems like a really good deal. How come no one's picked this up yet? And him and I kind of went back and forth, and he told me that everyone was kind of wasting his time. They were throwing him offers, but no one was serious. And so I told him, hey man, if, you know, we'll land on this number, and if, you know, you're good to go, then I'm good to go. I can come up and get it from you. And that's exactly what happened. So last Monday, I flew up to Sacramento. I bought the car and I drove it home. And, you know, obviously between, you know, cleaning it up and getting it ready to show you guys and Thanksgiving this last week, and I've also been working pretty much all week. The video's, you know, late. You know, normally I post on Sundays, but I think it's gonna go up on Monday if you're watching it. But point is, I have the car, and I'm really excited to show it to you guys. It's one of my favorite M cars of all time. It's one of the best BMW M cars in my opinion. So without further ado, here's the new car. All right, there we have it. It is a 2011 E92 M3 non-competition pack, Alpine White over Bamboo Beige. It is a DCT trans, it is a clean title, and it has just a hair over 126,000 miles, which is not terrible for these cars, but it does need some maintenance. If you're familiar at all with the E9X M3 chassis, you know that the rod bearings are notorious for failing, the throttle actuators go out. The Vanos covers are starting to be like a more prevalent issue with these cars, and unfortunately none of them have been addressed on this car, which is kind of why I got it for the price that I did. But thankfully I already bought everything I need to do the rod bearing job. Those parts should be here hopefully in the next like week or so, but so that'll get handled and I could feel safe driving the car after that. But yeah man, I am super stoked. I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but it's kind of funny because I mentioned earlier about the poll that I posted here on the channel last week asking you guys for your opinion on what you think I should do once I sell the Porsche. The options being buying the wide body kit for the E36 or picking up an E9X M3. And despite the results of that poll, which leaned pretty heavily towards the E9X M3 route, I was probably gonna buy the kit, but like I mentioned, this was just too good of an opportunity to pass up, and you know, no regrets. I was probably gonna buy one of these cars in the future sometime anyways, between the E36 M3 and the E9X M3 chassis, those are like my two favorite BMWs that exist right now. So to be able to have them both, I'm definitely not complaining at all, but it was not planned. But either way, it worked out because those were the two options and I ended up with this anyway. So I hope you guys are as excited as I am. I can't even speak, that's how excited I am. But yeah, man, I'm stoked to be in another one of these. If you've been subscribed to the channel for a little bit now, you know that I used to have an E90 M3. In fact, that was the car I owned right before I picked up the F10, which is where a lot of you guys are probably from my F10 build. And I wish I would have been able to start the YouTube channel with my E90 M3, but where I was at that time when I owned that car, I didn't have access to a garage like this. I wasn't able to work on my cars where I lived, and so I wish I would have started it there, but I didn't. But now I have the E92 M3, and now I could document both of my favorite cars, which is just a blessing, you know what I mean? I'm stoked to be able to even be in a position to own both of these cars. And so hopefully you guys are excited, and if you are, I know a lot of you voted for the E9X M3 route. Hopefully you consider subscribing and kind of follow along with this build. I don't know where the E92 will end up, but I'm just stoked to have it and to be able to kind of do what I want to do with that car. So I know there was no parts installed, I know there was no driving clips, I know, you know, all of that stuff, but I don't think there's anything really more exciting than picking up a new car. So, you know, hopefully it was a worthwhile video to have watched anyways. And I'm excited to show you guys whatever first video comes out about the E92 M3, whatever the first mod ends up being. So definitely subscribe for that. Thank you for checking it out. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.